Okay, this is John Lee, Director of the MSc in Design and Digital Media. John, you have an office here in the Informatics building, it's a modern building, and one down there, which the viewers can't see, but it's in the old Edinburgh. Why is that?
Well, that's because actually for various historical reasons I'm half in architecture and half in informatics here. So I began working in cognitive science, which is now part of informatics, but then got involved in computer-aided design. And so that's how I come to be halfway between the two, really.
So you're half in architecture, in fact, and half in informatics. We won't ask which half is in each, but you've been involved since about the 1980s in, I guess, automation in architecture or computer-aided design. What changes have you seen since then in the digital marketplace?
Well, it's pretty striking. Back in the 80s, computer-aided design was still quite an unusual thing in many cases, especially in practice. And there was a lot of research involved in trying to push forward the basic functionality of CAD systems. Since then, you've seen CAD become almost a commodity thing, really. AutoCAD and things like that, people just buy it. And a lot of the research has moved more into the perhaps artificial intelligence area, things like that. And also now I think digital media has become a much more prominent issue. So you have video, you have animation, lots of 3D modeling with much better rendering and things like that than we were able to achieve in the 80s. So these things have become really vital components, as well as the web and everything else, in terms of marketing.
So I guess some of these facilities and capabilities are more distributed now, more widely used?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, in practice, especially, you find that people are using computers all over the place. In some places there's hardly a drawing board to be seen, and certainly the web is very widely used as a sort of medium for publicity and other kinds of communication.
Now, about 200 or more students have been through the Design and Digital Media program. What have you learned from these students?
Well, tremendous amount, really. One thing that's characteristic of these students is that they come from a very broad variety of backgrounds and a very broad variety of countries as well. So culturally and intellectually they're very varied, and I think that one learns from that a huge amount about how, you know, the various kinds of issues in the use of digital media and the relationship between media and culture in particular, and the relationship between media and markets is so diverse and you know, has so many different facets to it.
What do you think the future holds for graduates of a program like the Design and Digital Media MSc?
Well, this is always hard to predict, of course. One should never get into making predictions, I think. But I suppose that we'll only see digital media becoming more and more crucial as a part of what happens in the world generally. And so I think communications and everything concerned with commercial activity will more and more depend on digital media. So it seems to me that you know, there'll always be a very fundamental role for people who have an understanding of how digital media works and how to promote or develop strategies for design in digital media. The important thing about it is that it keeps changing all the time, very rapidly. So people have to be very light on their feet and ready to change and adapt to the changes in the technologies and the changes in social circumstances.
Well, that's probably a good place to end. So it's all about adaptation and capability to change.
Absolutely.
And change the world, perhaps. And flexibility.
Indeed. Yeah. Change the world.
We'll do that too. On our days off.